I'm TAP-G.
And I'm SurferClock.
And welcome to What's the Attraction?
Where our work is your vacation. There's no sensation in the world like flying, is there? That's why flying is utilized so often in so many attractions. The wonder, the majesty, and the simple empowerment of freedom and gazing down at those far below you. And today, we'll get to discuss one of those rides where you ride along a railing on the ceiling and fly over numerous audio animatronics in
Peter Pan's Flight! OMG! This ride is like a Walt Disney original. There's this part where you fly over Mermaid Lagoon and then...
Wait. Peter Pan's Flight? What on earth made you think of that? I was going to talk about the E.T. adventure at Universal.
What? Why? We already talked about that like ages ago. There's no need.
Wait. Hold on. 2 rides, same ride system.
Based on beloved movie.
At 2 rival parks. Does this mean...
V to the E to the R to the S-U-S versus... In this corner, the original innovator, the revolutionary, second star to the right, folks, Peter Pan's Flight! And in this corner, he has a gun. No, wait, it's a walkie-talkie. No, it's a gun again. That precocious pile of clay and chicken wire, E.T. Adventure!
Pirates or police, Neverland or far-off planet, aliens with healing touch, or a boy who never grows up and can fly? Let's find out. Ready, Reese?
Round 1. Theming. Which ride does a better job of transporting you to its respective universes even before you get on the ride?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious Peter Pan's Flight's gonna win this one.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, when you're in the queue, you get to see these beautiful wood cutout trees.
Okay.
Oh, and there's that cool 3D diorama of Neverland where you load, and
Neat. Anything else?
Well, what else you got? I'd like to hear your rebuttal.
Okay. In the E.T. adventure, you go into the pre-show room where Steven Spielberg comes on the TV and he tells you that E.T.'s planet is dying and that you're the only hope for saving it. So in order to get back to the Green Planet, you need to fly back to the Green Planet. In order to be able to fly out of the planet, of course, you need your planetary passport. You go into a room with the team members who you give your first name to. They put that onto the passport, and when you go into when you round the corner, what do you see? This big elaborate park. It's just like the one where E.T. had to go through, like that forest area where E.T. had to go through.
And I'm sure your forest is most impressive.
It actually is. They have they look like real trees, and they stream in forest scent, so it smells like you're in the woods. Then you see this projection of Botanicus, who sort of says, you need to bring him back. So, once you get through that, you go to the bikes, and you're off. I think it themes pretty well.
What we have, chain switchbacks.
Switchbacks are nice, but not theming.
Oh, we have a hidden Mickey on one of the trees.
Oh, really? That's kind of cool. Not really theming, though.
But they say they're going to update the ride in the future, but we don't know what it's going to...
I heard there was supposed to be interactive stuff. Which might be kind of cool. But it's no E.T. adventure.
Winner E.T. Alrighty, round 2. Special effects. Which ride delivers a better experience by telling the story with better special effects?
Alright.
Well, obviously Peter Pan's Flight wins this one.
Really?
Well, like the cars on the streets of London that actually roll by as underneath your ship.
You're right, that is a pretty cool effect.
Ooh, my personal favorite, the sail transition.
Very innovative.
You come around the corner and you see Wendy on the gangplank and Hook and Peter Pan on the mainsail fighting and all the pirates and the boys abound. And all you do is just go right around the sail and it furthers the story as you see the next scene. The pirates are beaten up, Peter's at the helm, and Captain Hook is caught at the crocodile's jaws. That is a very simple but very well done transition.
Okay, I have to agree.
Or even the forced perspective of London.
That's pretty cool, but what happens when you get at the wrong angle?
Then the clouds look like cardboard cutouts and the buildings look like smaller on the bottom.
Okay, well, Neverland was pretty cool in the movie. How did they manage to translate it here?
Well, of course, as you remember in the movie, there was the African savanna, there was the deciduous forests and the open plains, and then there was the jungle and the mermaid lagoon. And in Peter Pan's Flight, it's green hills and... Seriously, guys, not even a tree somewhere? Come on, you're killing me. I'm trying to win. I'm rooting for you guys here.
Well, how about the possibility for expansion? Couldn't they further expand on it?
No, unfortunately. The building was built back in the 1960s. First of all, it's built with a lot of materials that aren't exactly the most stable or healthy. Is it a health hazard? No, but on the other hand, too, it can't really do a whole lot. The other problem is it's connected to everything that's in Fantasyland and in Liberty Square. So there's no room to expand, and there's no room to take it down without destroying everything else around it.
Alright, so first of all, one of the neatest things about E.T. Adventure is that E.T. actually says your name.
I knew it! I knew he was stalking me!
Maybe not you so much as all the people who get their names input.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the downside is there are not a lot of the more modern names that are coming along. They could update it with that. And
so if you're taking your friend Shaniqua with you on E.T. Adventure, she's not going to hear her name.
Well, she'll be friend, more than likely. But, I mean, I think that's a pretty simple update. You go in a little computer system, and there you go. Curious that they haven't done that yet. There's the police and the jeeps, which are really cool. You actually kind of bounce off of it. You kind of go up and down.
Fun fact, one of the police shouting after you as you take off is the voice of Ron Schneider.
Pretty cool fact. I think the animatronics, too, are a lot more elaborate. I mean, E.T.'s friends, however creepy they might be.
Yes.
But they actually move around a little bit, and though there are some glaring, obvious things in the scenes, like, especially where you see all the tiny little ETs, and they're, like, moving up and down, it doesn't look that great, but, I mean, it still holds up relatively well. The ride is cared for by Spielberg. They definitely keep it maintained, and although there really hasn't been a major update, but it really doesn't need one.
Looks like E.T. wins again! Come on, TAP-G, you can do better than this. Round 3, music. Which ride delivers better on its experience with music?
You want to go ahead and start again?
I don't want to.
Do you want me to start?
Please do.
Okay, of course, everybody knows that epic John Williams E.T. swell.
Who?
John Williams.
I don't believe I know that name.
Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Jaws, Superman, Harry Potter, and even Hook. Come on!
Oh, snap. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. But I mean, if you haven't heard it a million times already in this review, there's that awesome epic E.T. swell. But nothing captures that swell quite like when you're actually on a bike taking off for the sky, you pass by the moon and you see yourself almost projected on it. And not only does that music play when you're actually taking off, but it kind of goes as a bit of a theme too when you're on E.T.'s Green Planet. You know, it's sort of a la 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 la. It's, it's a little weirder. But, I mean, it's still great, and it's an epic piece of music, and you'll never quite forget it, no matter how hard you try. So, what about Peter Pan?
I've never been a huge fan of the Peter Pan Disney film, although I know it has a lot of fans. But if there's anything I do like about Peter Pan, it's the music. There's that great intro theme that you heard earlier. There's that, There's that great trill. There's that great tick dum dum dun 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 of the tick-tock croc. I mean, there's all this great music and great underscoring, and of course, there's the other song, Second Star to the Right, Following the Leader, and all that. And none of that is heard.
Really?
What you actually hear is this very gentle dum 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 dum. This very gentle string quartet, which sounds like someone just on a string instrument just playing it very lazily along. It's nice, it's gentle,
sure,
and it does give somewhat of a magical quality. And that wouldn't be so bad if the ride wasn't mostly a visual experience. You see a lot of cool stuff, but there's only really about like 5 lines of actual dialogue. Most of it's said by Captain Hook. So what you're doing is really, you're listening to more of this music permeating throughout the ride. So really, no great music, but it's about music. I have no choice. I gotta give this to you.
Ooh, and Tappers get slammed to the mat! Again! E.T. Come on, here's round 4. The vehicles. which ride has a better ride vehicle for its story it's trying to tell?
I'll go ahead and let you start this one off as well.
Okay, the galleon you sit in for Peter Pan's flight, if nothing else, it's really just a fairly comfortable bench.
Sure.
That's pretty much all it is, and it works well to its purpose. Heck, it can seat up to 3 people. You know, if all 3 of you were the size of Snooki. And, you know, theoretically, it is more accessible to people with wheelchairs a little more readily. The only problem is it's on an omni-mover system. So it's that moving treadmill you're standing on, so it slows the ride down and everyone else on it. But it's accessible at least.
Sure.
And not to mention, the best part is when you start to take off, there's that one cast member who waves his magic hand and snaps his fingers and bing, down comes your lap bar. So cute! So, what about the ones at E.T.?
Alright, so let's talk about the E.T. vehicle.
Please do. I'd like to hear your rebuttal.
Okay. Well, what other method would you use to transport E.T. back to his home planet than a bike?
I would have used a Yugo.
A Yugo?
A Yugo.
What's a Yugo?
A car that didn't work out so well in Yugoslavia in the early 90s.
Alright, well, you take E.T. back in your non-flying Yugo. I'm going to take him back in a bike that actually flies. Yes, the bike actually seats up to 12 people.
12?
12, yes. You can put 12 into one vehicle. 3 rows of 4. And if you sit in the front row, you actually see E.T.'s head pop out from the basket. And once you're back to the green planet, it goes back down into the basket, and then you experience the rest of the ride. But I believe it's an easy transfer process if you're in a wheelchair. There is no moving conveyor belt, so you don't have to deal with that. And I think it's a pretty inventive ride vehicle overall. It has handlebars, and you feel like you're... And I don't know, every time I go on, I tend to pedal.
You're killing me, Smalls! Point goes to E.T. Okay, Toppers, one last chance to bring us all home.
Hey, how come you're supporting him?
Let's be honest, sirs. Who doesn't love an underdog?
Fair enough. What's the last one?
Underdog.
Don't ruin it, Essie. Alright, round 5. Story. Which ride tells the most engaging narrative?
And do we have to really use the word engaging narrative?
Yeah, we're looking for an engaging narrative. One that draws you into the story of the actual property you're going through. I'm guessing you'd like to start?
Fine. Okay, the story of Peter Pan's flight is essentially a recreation of the movie. Kids meet Peter Pan, they fly over London, they go into Neverland, fly over Neverland, Captain Hook fights them, and you return home. That's the story, and unfortunately, you're just a passive observer here. You don't do anything other than ride in your pirate ship and look at things. And yeah, it's because this ride was built originally in the 1950s at Disneyland, so that was back at a time where being a passive observer was the way to do a ride. It wasn't about being engaging. But, you know, it's really just glanced over. It's Peter Pan in 3 minutes. Unfortunately, I mean, it's a decent story, but it's one we've seen a million times before every time you pop in the DVD.
So let's go ahead and talk about the story of the E.T. adventure, or what it originally was intended to be. Having Steven Spielberg involved in it meant that it was supposed to try and cast a sequel of E.T. where you actually go back to his green planet and help him use the healing touch, but it felt kind of muddled, and they wanted to capture sort of that most memorable moment of the original E.T., and that's Elliot flying with the moon as the backdrop. Universal, they found a way to put you into that story, and now you're no longer just a passive observer looking at sets. You are now part of the story, helping E.T. get back to the Green Planet, and you help him get away from the police, and then you make that triumphant lift into the air, complete with the E.T. score, and you're there. You're helping him get back to the Green Planet. You are no longer just relegated to the role of observer.
Okay. Let me see if I've got this straight. Okay.
All right.
Are you telling me that a ride with a good themed queue, great special effects, great music, awesome inventive ride vehicles, and a better engaging story is far better than an attraction that has weak queue theming, weak special effects, very weak music, a ride vehicle that's okay at best, and a story in which you just watch stuff?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay.
And so, in a sweeping knockout of 5-0, the E.T. Adventure is a superior attraction!
Wow, that really surprised me. And I'm sure we're going to get a ton of hate mail for this too. No hard feelings, right, man?
Just you wait! I'll get my revenge. And then, a whole world will pay. Oh, yes. Yes, they will.
You think he takes medication to suppress a megalomaniacal mind?
If he does, I think he needs to up the dosage.
Oh, time for my NyQuil! What were we talking about?
Well, on that note, thanks for listening, everyone, and feel free to email or comment us if you agree, or more likely disagree, with our results. And as always, I'm SurferClock.
I'm Reese.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
This was a Versus episode of What's the Attraction, where our work is your vacation.
It's over. Cut it out, TAP-G.
Who?